my speech is about abortion, why it is wrong. How many here are pro-choice? Like, actually raise your hand.
Pro-choice?
Pro-choice, like a woman should have the right to choose between aborting her baby or not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Raise your hand.
No, just kidding, no.
Yeah. So there's a couple of you. Okay, Okay, thank you. Simply put, abortion is the termination or expulsion of a fetus or embryo resulting in or causing death. A couple ways abortions can be accomplished is by dilation and evacuation. Pretty much the woman goes in and her cervix is dilated over about 2 or 3 days. When she comes back to the actual abortion about 3 days later, the abortionist will use forceps through the cervix to dismember the fetus by seizing like an arm or leg and then twisting it until it rips off. Yeah, and then he'll pull it out, and then he'll do that to the rest of the body until all the limbs are set on a table. And then when the skull remains, they'll crush it and then pull it out, and then they'll have to reassemble the baby onto the table, making sure they got all the body parts. And here's a picture of that.
Oh.
The hand.
I don't think I'm going
I'm sorry. Another way is intact dilation and extraction. Usually done after about 21 weeks. It's also called partial birth abortion. The cervix is dilated again over about 2 or 3 days, and they'll actually deliver the baby, but they'll use forceps to turn the baby upside down, and so it's coming out face down and feet first. And usually when it's coming out, the limbs are like flailing. It's pretty well alive, you can see that. But then they'll use forceps to the back of the neck, and they'll suck out the brain and crush the skull so the rest of the baby can come through. Take a picture of that. Kind of looks like an actual baby. So. Other way is saline injection. It's usually done after the 16th week. There's the needle with saline inside of it, like a salt solution. It's injected through the mother's abdominal wall into the amniotic fluid in the womb, and it'll pretty much suffocate the baby because it'll breathe in the salt solution. Dehydration and hemorrhaging of the brain and severely burned skin. It's pretty much the death of the baby. Pictures of that.
Oh my god.
And then there's manual vacuum aspiration. It's done usually about 7 to 15 weeks, and it makes up 89% of all abortions. Cervix is manually dilated, and then there's a machine-operated suction device that simply puts sucks the baby out, ripping it apart, and then it just into a collection jar at the end of the vacuum. And the same thing is done during the dilation and evacuation, where you have to put the baby back on the table and make sure you got all the body parts out. Another part, or that's usually just all of them. Adoption versus abortion. In adoption, your pregnancy will end in life, yet abortion, your choice, will result in the baby's death. 19.3% of all children adopt, or 19.3% of all children born were adopted before 1973, and 1973 is when abortion became illegal. Actually, I think a week from today will be the anniversary. And in 1995, only 1.7% of all children born were adopted. That's not less children being adopted, that's just less children being born. There's 3,700 abortions every day. That's 1.3 million babies dying every year. Top reasons for abortion, 93% is social reasons, like the baby would have a negative effect on mom's life, or it was just not wanted. 6% is for health reasons, and rape is less than 1%. So only 7% of all people having abortions really have a plausible reason. The argument against it is like, what if a woman was raped, should she have the right to abort her baby? Well, that's kind of like saying if the mom decided, or mom got raped and she decides she's going to go through with the pregnancy, and when her child's about 5 years, she keeps the child, and when the child's about 5 years old, she thinks that it's too overwhelming, so should she have the right to kill it when she's 5? I don't think so. I mean, it's not the child's fault that she was raped. It shouldn't be the one to have to suffer the consequences. Another reason is won't we get overpopulated? Not really. Right now there's a lower birth rate, but people are living longer. So there's a lot more old people than there are younger people. Yeah, and for every retired person, there needs to be another worker to make up for them. But we're not accomplishing that right now. So pretty much not necessarily soon or in your generation, but it's going to get to the point where there's not enough workers or not enough people who will be able to pay for it all. This is another reason it's pretty controversial. It's going to become illegal. Are women going to do it anyway, even if they are illegal? Isn't that going to cause harm to the mom? Like if she has an illegal abortion, that's going to be kind of bad for her. Well, that's kind of like saying in bank robberies, shouldn't that be legal so that when the bank robbers want to go like rob a bank, they don't have to worry about being like shot by a police officer or something? So should that be illegal? Not really. I mean, laws are made to protect the potential victim, not the potential assailant. You know what I mean? Another one is choice. Shouldn't it be her choice about her body? Well, yeah, but 99% of all abortions are because the woman chose to engage in sexual activities. Simply put, if you're going to have sex, you should be pretty sure you want to have a kid first. It's her fault. It could be argued that she had the choice when she had sex. I mean, simply put. My favorite quote about this subject is from Dr. Hogan. It says, "I don't mind if you want to abort your own body, but it sounds to me like you want to abort somebody else's." So in conclusion, I guess 1.3 of our generation is being killed off in one of the most inhumane ways people can imagine. I mean, we may not be able to make abortions illegal, but by informing people about what really happens in clinics, it can pretty much dramatically lower the death toll. So, how many people kind of have second thoughts about the whole pro-choice thing? Yeah, I thought so.